Hi, I'm Andy. I'm one of the other instructors for the course, and I just want to talk about the intro paper expectations. The intro paper is basically a way for us to get to know you a little bit better, but it's also a way for you to reflect on your experiences with sport and physical activity as a way of introducing yourself to this course and some of the material we're going to be talking about. Let me talk about the ideal writing style for this paper. Your writing style should really be conversational, and that often implies first-person voice. That's what we're looking for. But just don't make it like it's 2 a.m. on Grand River. Getting started with a reflective assignment can sometimes be difficult, but one of the best ways to get through that if you're stuck is just to try answering some questions. So we've listed a few questions here. What should be known about you, for instance, when it comes to your life experiences, especially as they relate to sport or physical activity? Another one might be a little bit more personal, but you might talk about a time where you felt a little bit unsafe or threatened or scared in sport, and might compare that to a time where you felt very venerated or very proud, safe, or excited about participating in sport or physical activity. That's sort of the micro or personal route. You might also write about some more macro things, big picture things, society things. So, are there social issues in sport that are extremely troubling for you? You might be troubled by the issue of sport gambling, or you might be troubled by some of the issues regarding college eligibility. I'll do my best to explain this respect for ambiguity section, but what I'm trying to get at here is as you reflect, you're not always going to be 100% certain what you think. And that's fine. What we're trying to say is you should respect the fact that you're ambiguous about some of your opinions when it comes to sport. And that's what this course is really about. We need that level of ambiguity about certain ideas before there can be change and consensus on newer ideas that might be more acceptable for the times. I give an example here of the question of should women be allowed to participate in sport at the same level that men are. And I think today most people agree that women should be able to have the same opportunities as men. But very recently, less than 50 years ago, that view was not the mainstream view. There were a lot of different opposing voices here, and I've highlighted the example of Catherine Switzer here, who was the first woman to run the Boston Marathon. That was in 1967. And that's sort of a pretty grotesque example of where there's some competing viewpoints, and it actually got quite physical, as you can see from the pictures that I posted here. But again, what I'm trying to get you to respect is that you may have some opposing viewpoints even within your own head, and we attempt to resolve those ambiguous viewpoints throughout the course of the class, but sometimes we don't resolve those things. But we do want to see you express that in your reflection paper. So if you're uncertain, write about that. The last thing I'll add here is just the nitty-gritty details. Be sure to read this because this includes some of the information about how we want the paper formatted. What's really important is you need to have this in class with you on Monday, January 13th. We'll ask another classmate to read yours, and you'll switch papers. And this will be sort of a point of departure for our discussion in class on Monday. If you turn it into something that is just not up to standards, you don't put a lot of thought into it, it's not very well written at all, it looks like you put it together 5 minutes before class, we'll give you a check minus for that assignment. And the expectation will be then that you would revise that before you turn in your exit paper at the end of the year. If you do have questions about that, you can raise that with me or Ian by email, or you can ask Ian in class on Wednesday.